Hi everyone, I hope you're well. This is CoinsKid. Just going to dive into Bitcoin. Once again, thank you for your continued support. Really do appreciate everything you do to contribute towards the growth of CoinsKid. Sharing is caring, okay? Big thumbs up to each and every one of you. If you're not already involved in the Patreon, do get involved. The links on coinskid.com in the link section, and also in each video description. Okay, we've got some really good content in there and lots of good feedback as well, which is great. Thank you for that feedback, and obviously thank you for your Patreonship. So it's all good. So right now, Bitcoin, straight off the bat, if it doesn't hold a key level of support right now, it's going to roll. And I'll always be honest with you, because I'm seeing a very similar fractal, and I've told you about this fractal before for Bitcoin. Okay, so basically what I'm going to show you is, I'll just get rid of this Elliott wave. Now you know this Elliott wave theory, okay? This doesn't happen overnight. I mean, look at this particular event here, the wave 1, the wave 2 pullback, the wave 3, the wave 4 can go on for months before we get that extended wave 5, okay? And that's why our target is off this Elliott wave 5, because we do believe that we're in Elliott wave theory. We do believe we're having wave 4 pullback. That can go as deep as you like and for as long as you like, okay? And we do anticipate that the fifth wave there will see us up at that 200k, if not more, per Bitcoin. So that's done. That's our price prediction. But it's going to be a bumpy road, and you're fully aware of that. So right now, you do need to see Bitcoin hold a key level of support. What Bitcoin's got, this is a weekly time frame, okay? For Bitcoin, then you've got this pattern that's playing out on the weekly. So in the price action, you've got the high lows. Great, fantastic, superb. Look at that, beautiful. So it's adhering to an uptrend basically. In the RSI, you've got a hidden bullish divergence here. This is called a hidden bullish divergence, where you're making the lower highs in the price action, making the high highs. Just confluence of the fact that you're in an uptrend basically. So there's no sort of hidden divergences or anything like that. There's no hidden bearish divergences, so to speak. You know, you're bullish basically. So in this particular fractal over here, in this pattern, you've got this high lows as well. Do you see this? And then in the RSI, you've got this hidden bullish divergence just there as well. So basically lower highs and higher lows. Do you see this? Beautiful continuation. Looks golden. Let's all get excited. We're doing really well basically. But as you can see, it rolled and it lost a key level of support, and then it came down and lost 20, lost 55, went sideways before the corona dump, and then obviously picked up and carried on again. So this is why you do need to keep an eye on this upper trend line, because if it loses it, you're going to carry out a very similar pattern like you have over here for Bitcoin, in my opinion. Because just here you've got this weekly candle. Do you see it's called a bullish engulfing candle, where you've got this candle here, negative red, a sell-off basically. Then the next week you had a larger body candle with a higher closing, okay? It's called a bullish engulfing candle. Then the next week after that you had a lovely upside, then you start to roll. That's where you can see that particular week start to roll. Now look at this pattern that's playing out here, okay, for Bitcoin. Just here you've got the bullish engulfing candle, you had a lovely green week, then the week after you start to roll. So right here you're on this week for Bitcoin, and you can see that if you lose this, come down, and you start to lose this support line of this upper trend line that we've got going on, where you're making these higher lows, if you start to lose it, you're going to look at the same sort of scenario that we'd had here in 2019, where Bitcoin topped, made that tabletop top. Look, it's a tabletop. Look how flat it is. Same here, very flat. If you do start to roll and not break the highs, then this is a potential target for Bitcoin, a very similar pattern that's playing out. And if it does play out, I want to reassure you that if it does play out and you do see Bitcoin roll and go sideways, it's not the end of the bull run. The end of the bull run is when you start making the bearish crosses on the weekly. You're hitting your head on it, and you like here when you rolled under here. Look, you see the EMA. You started to roll and then you lost the EMAs just here. This actual losing of the EMAs was created by the corona dump. But here in the previous bull, when you got completely overextended, really overextended, that euphoric parabola top, which I do believe is coming for Bitcoin, by the way. I don't believe we're there yet. That's where I believe that you may see that extension of that fourth wave up there somewhere, you know, in the mid 500, 600k Bitcoin. That's where you're going to see that parabolic blow off top right there, like we did in that previous bull run. So this particular overextension rolled, okay, you can see it rolled, and then it fell under the EMAs. You create the bearish cross just there, boom, bear market ensued, and you was then under the EMAs and in a multi-year downtrend basically. So that's what is coming for Bitcoin, but we're nowhere near it yet. So you need to keep an eye on this particular trend line. This is a really important trend line for Bitcoin. It needs to hold these high lows, okay, on the weekly. If you do start seeing Bitcoin come down anymore and losing this particular trend line and start falling through that to me is a big signal that you're going into a multi-month consolidation event for Bitcoin, where you could potentially fall under the EMAs, okay, like you did here. See that? So do keep an eye on that particular pattern for Bitcoin. It's very, very important, obviously, for the health of the market as well and the entire crypto space. So it's really important that Bitcoin does actually not fall below that, because if it does, it's going to drag everything down with it as well. So it's crunch time, basically. I do believe that hopefully, if we can adhere to this, you could see Bitcoin actually be forced up in this sort of ascending triangle that it's got going on over the next sort of 4 to 5 weeks. That's where you could see Bitcoin just absolutely take off and get through these levels of resistance, making that high and marching onwards and upwards in that sort of wave 4 up to 200k, and then overextension there in this bull run. So do anticipate, though, if you do start to roll over, you know, if you do start to lose this key level of support, this is so key. This is key. I've just shown you why it's so key. Okay, if you do start to lose that, then obviously you're going to see that roll and further depreciation for Bitcoin, and you've got all our targets that we've given you in previous Bitcoin videos as well. So, but yeah, it's really important, really crucial time, and with that as well, you can see that this 20 EMA is actually creeping up the whole time. Okay, so it's asking for that as well, and effectively it needs to hold it, because if it doesn't hold it and it loses to 20 by the time this gets here over the next few weeks, if it loses that 20, that's where you're going to see it fall and enter that really sort of long drawn out consolidation event where potentially you could fall into a bear market for Bitcoin. So how important this is unbelievable, you know, in this bull run for Bitcoin and the entire crypto space right now. So this is why I'm doing you the Bitcoin update. It needs to hold support over the next few weeks. You need to see it do this. If it doesn't, see you later, alligator. I'm thinking about exiting my positions, to be honest with you. Not financial advice. So that's a little update on Bitcoin right now. You can see, if I switch to the other chart right now, you can see for Bitcoin. So this is the 4-hourly chart for Bitcoin. Like we've told you, you know, the rising wedge, you broke out of it, you made another rising wedge and you started to break out of it. But right now you can see that for Bitcoin it's forming some kind of bear pennant, and it does have a breakdown target, which we've already given you. Okay, this particular breakdown target, if it continues and you do see Bitcoin break out, you could see further depreciation. You could see where Bitcoin would actually fall down to sort of 52k right there. Okay, so do come to your charts and do anticipate that if you do start to see Bitcoin sort of fall out of this kind of bear pennant that it's got on the go right here, if you do start to see a further breakdown, then do anticipate that you may see Bitcoin coming down to sort of 52k right there. So again, if you do start to see it roll out of here and break this level of resistance and support, start to roll, then do anticipate you're looking at a further 6% downside for Bitcoin right there. And then obviously, you know, you would carry out the full tracement down there, the full pattern, so to speak, of Bitcoin falling out of this rising wedge, because the rising wedge look like this, and the breakdown target is where you formed a wedge, just like that, just like this particular pattern here. When you broke out of this rising wedge, was down here, but it never actually got there. So that's how strong Bitcoin is, though. You know, it's not actually carrying out that pattern yet, but the pattern that's in play is valid until validated away. And the only way to invalidate the particular breakdown pattern for Bitcoin right here is obviously this particular pattern here, the larger one, the rising wedge. To invalidate this, you know all about that already. You've got to break that high. Okay, you've got to sort of come up, smash that high, and it invalidates that pattern. And again, the only way to invalidate this one is to come up, break this high, and it invalidates this pattern. Really is that simple. So you got like a rising wedge within a rising wedge that's sort of playing out so far, and that basically is a target down there, that 43k. It has been for a long time, and hopefully, you know, all that we're looking at is that sort of ABC correction right there that we get for Bitcoin. But like I said to you, if you start to lose that weekly, that upper trend line on the weekly there, then it's looking negative for Bitcoin. So you've got the A, B, C correction down to 43k right there. Okay, so that's Bitcoin in a nutshell. Just a quick update to keep you updated. So if you do see Bitcoin not break to the downside of this bear pennant right here that it's got going, you can see it's a bear pennant. You see that it's fallen into it and it's trading diagonal like that. That means it's a bear pennant. It's getting tighter and tighter, and as it gets close to the apex, you do start to see the breakout. You know, something like that. It starts to break out. They can obviously break to the upside, because if they do break to the upside, it'll just come back to where it formed just there. Okay, so you could see Bitcoin come back up into the rising wedge, so to speak, and forming something called a throwback. Basically, comes back up, breaks that high, invalidates this rising wedge, then marches on and makes new highs and invalidates this larger rising wedge that it's got going on for itself as well. So that's basically Bitcoin in a nutshell. Keep an eye on it. So far it is breaking down and it's dragging the market down a bit. If it continues to fall out of here, obviously you'll see a 52k Bitcoin, because this is what happens. Look, it's not going to go like this overnight, because that would be monstrous. If Bitcoin just went like this, fell out of this rising wedge down to there, that's a whopping 13% correction, okay? Just look at this particular pattern just here. When it fell out of this rising wedge, it fell out, created a bull flag base, a bear flag, where it started to come back on itself, then it rolled again. Do you see that? So effectively, that's what it's got going for itself. It's doing it in legs. It's doing it in legs when it's collapsing. Or even when it's going up, it does it in legs. When it's coming down, it's doing it in legs, like this. You see that? So that's basically Bitcoin. Take care, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow with another update. Stay strong, stay healthy, and stay tuned. And hopefully Bitcoin picks itself up and cracks on now. I'll give you key levels of support on Bitcoin. Take care. Bye-bye.